Hello everyone, it's February week 2 and time for the Recycle Repurpose Reuse / Use Your Scraps challenge in the Facebook group, the Mixed Media Emporium. For anybody that wants to follow along with our prompts and challenges, I'll leave the link to the Facebook group in the description box below, so please do feel free to come along and join us. Now today I want to do something with the beautiful dried flowers on tea bags that I made last week, and for anybody who hasn't seen how I made these, I'll leave the link to last week's video in the description box. But some of you may remember this nature journal that I made a few years ago. It's almost finished, but there are still a few blank pages. I love this journal. It's absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, whoops, let me just get rid of this because it's really bothering me. As you can see, I haven't sewn the signature into the journal yet. It's just a single signature. This was made from packaging from a pair of pillowcases, so, you know, completely junk. And, you know, I've primarily filled it with dried flowers. I've got a few mixed media pieces in here as well, but let me just give you a quick flip through. I've got some of my eco-dyed pages. This is just beautiful, but I've got this page here that needs something doing to it. This is a handmade vellum page that I made with one of my eco-dyed papers. So here we go, here's a mixed media piece, and this was made with real wasp nest paper. I took a wasp nest apart and made the ATC, and I've just decorated that. That's how that was made. We've also got this double page spread here that needs filling. We've got a couple of bits that need something adding to them, and I've got some ideas for that. And then of course we've got these mixed media pages at the end of the journal as well. I just absolutely love that that tag. So, you know, very much nature inspired, but I do want to see if I can incorporate some of these into the 4 sides that are still empty. Let's take this one page at a time. I want to add something just to the side of the feather here. Now, Paulette gave me some wonderful ideas at the time, and she sent me a couple of poems, but I don't know, I just wanted to add more nature-inspired pieces. I've got a couple more tea bags that I didn't use last week, and what I'm thinking is that I can use these beautiful eggs, which I think will go really well with the feather, and these are just cutouts from wallpaper samples that I had collected, and I am thinking that I can add these to these pieces of wallpaper. You can see what I've done is concertina it so that the tea bags are the right size to mount these wallpaper samples. So I'm thinking I can have one here. I do want to take these off to the sewing machine, and then I've got this one here as well, which I thought I might be able to pop underneath, and I just think that will pad out that page. I think the eggs go really well with the feather, so it's all bird related. Yeah, I think I like how that's going to look. So what I am going to do, I've got some of my iced spruce distress oxide. I am just going to frame just around these wallpaper samples, just to frame them. And then I'm just going to take this off to the sewing machine and add a little bit of stitching. Now on this one here, because this is cut fairly low to the blackbird sign, I think what I'll do is just sew down the sides. I'm just going to add some stitching down the side here and here. So I think that's what I'm going to do with that one. And I don't know about this one. Maybe I'll sew all the way around. I'll see how I feel when I dig my sewing machine out. So as soon as I've done that, I'll be straight back. Now, before I take this off to the sewing machine, I just want to add a small amount of glue just on here, just to hold this down whilst I sew it. We'll do the same with this one here. And then I'm just going to take it off now and add some stitching. Let's add a bit to the back here. So that one was going to go on this one. Yep, that will do, and we'll add a bit of glue to this one here as well. Oops, that's gone a bit gloopy, and I'll just go and add a couple of lines of stitching just to add a bit of detail and interest. This is what these look like now that they've had the stitching added to them. Really cute. I think that makes a nice backdrop to those images. Suits the page really well. So I'm just going to glue these down with a bit of art glitter glue. I'm going to have this one on top. I like mine being slightly dimensional, so I'm just going to add the glue to the stitching itself. Look at the beautiful pattern on the back. It's a shame you can't actually see that. And I'm just going to have that there, and I'll glue the other one down as well. So that's that page finished, and you can see that there's a similar theme going on throughout this. It's very, very simplistic, and that's very much my style. So what I'm thinking is that I want to add maybe one of these, perhaps that one there, because the purples go really well with the other side of the page. So I just need to have a think as to how I would like to mount this. I found this envelope in my stash, and this was sent to me in Happy Mail. It's adhesive on the back, but it's just too stark white, so we need to do something with it. So let me just move my journal out of the way, bring in a piece of parchment paper, and I've also made myself a fresh tea stain solution. Now I've used tea bags. This is Earl Grey tea, which is not very strong anyway, and what I'm going to do is just spray inside, just because I don't want a harsh line. So we'll spray some of the tea solution. You can see that this is very, very subtle, and that's exactly the way I wanted it to be. I didn't want anything too harsh. I love those patterns, and I'm just going to dry this with my heat tool. My envelope is dry, and I'm just going to use some distress ink in tea dye just to ink around the edges. I've only got this one in the small. Here we go, just add a little bit around the edges, not too dark. I like the colour of this one. I should dig it out more actually. Let's try and get some just on the lip here, and then just around the edges. And then I want to add any stitching to my tea bag or not? You see this petal goes over the edge. I'm not sure. I think I do. I think I'm just going to try and take this off to the sewing machine, and let's see what we end up with. Now I've torn the top of the tea bag here. I don't know whether you can see. I've also decided to leave some of these threads on. I don't know whether you can see. I've just added a tiny bit of glue just to that torn edge. And let's pop this on, try and centralize it, and just incorporate that tear into my design. Just try and flip it over so that it's the right way. And you see, there you go, I've pieced it back together, and now you'd never know. But I just love how much the stitching adds to the texture. I've also got this tea bag here, and one of these little mini CD cases. This was sent to me in Happy Mail. This is coffee stained, and I'm just wondering whether I can pop my tea bag inside, just so that we've got that little window. It's not quite wide enough. You can see the design on the sides of the tea bag, but I'm okay with that. I think what I'll do is add some glue just to the back, but I'm just going to try and get it so that those ridges are evenly spaced on either side. There we go, we've got it there or thereabouts. And so there's a little flap here which I can glue it down with. I think I'll add a tiny amount of glue just to hold that in place, stop it coming undone. I'm just going to take this one off to the sewing machine and add a little bit of stitching as well, and then let's find a way to add these to the journal. I just love how this looks with the stitching added to it. It just makes such a big difference. So let's add this to the journal. Now I want this one here to go on this page, and to keep it in keeping, I'm going to use some watercolour paper. I've got this watercolour paper here. I just love the texture. This is nice and thick, and so I'm thinking that I can glue that on there like that. And then I'm thinking as well that I can add another tea bag. Now this is a tea bag I made a while ago, a couple of years ago, in a previous tea bag decorating video. I'll leave the link to the video showing how I made this in the description box below, but it's basically just a napkin over a piece of tea bag. And I've got another piece of watercolour paper, but what I want to do with this is tea stain it. Already inked around the edges, as you can see, with some of the Distress ink in tea dye. Which side of the paper do I want to use? I think I want to use this side here, so just going to lightly spray it with some of my tea dye just to give it a bit of patina and take the whiteness away. I'm not going to do it on this piece here. I like how white that looks because that's going to be my main background. And I'm just going to give this a zap with my heat tool. That's what my watercolour paper looks like now. So I want to piece this together. Now my butterfly is going to go on here, but I feel as if it needs something else. So I've pulled out a piece of burlap, which I frayed and cut to the right size. You know how much I love layering things. Let's see which side I want it to go. I think I like this side here the best. And I'm just going to glue these down. I really like how that looks. And, you know, I might add an eyelet and maybe a bit of twine to this as well. Let me have a play around. I decided to add an eyelet to this. So this is what it looks like on the front. I've tea stained it on the back as well. I want to use a piece of this cloth here. And I'm going to cut it in half just because it's too wide. Let's see if I can tear this. Here we are. That's perfect. That's exactly the kind of look I was after. Let me just take off some of these loose threads. That will do nicely. Let's fold it in half and just poke this through, and then I can stick this down into my journal as well. And I think this will make a really pretty finished page. I might have cut this a tad too short, but that's all right. No, that's fine. That's perfect. I think that goes really well. So that can slot inside my pocket there. I like how raggedy it looks. Let me just take the backing of this and stick it down. Yep, it's plenty sticky enough. Let me stand up to do this so that I get it in the right place. Don't overthink it, Nina. And I'm just going to stick this down to my page. Let me just take this apart. I'm just going to stick that on there like that. I love how that looks. Then I just want to add this onto the other side of the page. Now that looks a little bit plain. I've got this piece of upholstery fabric that I've cut to the right size. Now I could use this patterned size here, and I know that some of you are probably thinking that that's a shame to cover up that lovely design, but you know, the background just works so well. But I can't decide which side I want to use. Do I just want the basic plain side, or do I like a bit of the grey showing through? I think the grey is too much. I'm going to use it like this. It's the right weight, right texture, and so that will finish off that page there nicely, I think. That's what that spread looks like. I just love the simplicity of this journal. So that just leaves two more sides to complete. We've got these two sides. I've done some preparation work already. This is one of the other tea bags that I made last week, and I've just mounted this onto another piece of upholstery fabric. That's what the other side looks like, but I thought the plain side looked better. The colours just match the purples in the eco-dyed side on the left. I really like how that looks, so I'm just going to stick that down. And then on this page here, I'm just going to add this dried flower tea bag. I've added a couple of lines of stitching, just messy stitching, and I'm just going to stick that down. I'm not going to mount it in any way. I just like the simplicity of it exactly as it is. The next thing I want to do is add something to this page here. I've got this quote or poem. Let me be as a feather, strong with purpose, yet light at heart, able to bend. And though I might become frayed, able to pull myself together again, by Anita Sams. Now this, I want to go somewhere here, but it's too white, so I want to try and age it. I've got another piece of Teabag, and I'm just going to glue this down over the top with some matte medium. So let's add the matte medium to the background. You don't need much. I've printed this out on my inkjet printer, and thankfully it's not bleeding, so that's good. And I'm just going to stick this down on top. I've got some lines on my tea bag, so I just need to be careful where I place those. That should do fine. Looks so much better and so much more in keeping. I've just gone around the edges as well with my corner rounder, my X-cut corner rounder. I'm toying with the idea of inking around the edges as well, but that's just going to be glued on there like that, and then maybe I can find something just to add a touch of detail to the top. And I've pulled out this pack of rub-ons, and I'm thinking I can use this little bird here. Let's cut him out. I know it's not the right type of bird. I think the feather comes from a magpie, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's just, you know, just the aesthetics. So I'm just going to try and peel the backing off. And let's rub this on. So there we go. These just peel off. And I'm thinking that we can just have this here like so. And I'm just going to rub this with my bone folder. Oh, that's so cute. I love that. Well, that's the last page in the journal, and I don't know whether you noticed, I've sewn the signature in as well. Let me find the centre. I've just done a basic pamphlet stitch. I've shown this many times before, so if I can find one of my previous videos showing how I do this, I'll leave it in the description box below. But basically, you go in through the centre, out through the side, out through the other side and back in through the centre. Just the most easiest binding to do, and that's how it looks on the outside. And I've just used linen waxed thread to sew it. So let me just show you the journal front to back. So this is the front and back cover. I've still got to do something with this split ring on the side. It's just crying out for a journal charm, but I'll do a separate video. I've got some ideas as to what I can add to the outside, so as I've said, I'll show that in a separate video. So let me just give you a flip through. Let's just check that I'm in camera shot. I love the simplicity of this journal. I think the colours are just absolutely wonderful. So here we go. Just running through it really quickly. Of course, that was the page we finished off earlier. I've changed the inclusions in the pocket and added some of my laminated dried flowers, just because I think the colours go better. It's more aesthetically pleasing to my eye anyway. So that's that. Love this, I think, and just love the feel of it and the sound it makes as well. Just beautiful. And I'll leave previous videos as well showing how I created the previous pages. I think this is one of my most viewed videos as well, showing how I made previous pages in this journal. Love this page here. I think this is one of my favourites. It's just gorgeous. Love how it matches the page on the left hand side. Love this one here as well, just so pretty, absolutely beautiful. And of course the final one that we finished. And then I decided to add the tag that I'd originally included in the previous page into the back here, and I think that's its rightful place. I think those two tags go really well together. Well, I'm leaving the video here for today, but I will be back soon because I want to add a journal charm to the side of my journal, but I'm not going to do that today. I've got Toby here and I can hear that he's starting to get a little bit restless in the other room, so I'm going to call it a day whilst I'm ahead. But yeah, we'll see what we can come up with to decorate the side of the journal. I also want to start working on this new journal. I made this a few years ago and it's just so beautiful. I love this so much that I just haven't done anything with it. It's one of those that I take out of the shelf from time to time and I look through it. These are some of my absolute favourite eco-dyed pages that I added to this journal here. But, you know, it's time to start doing something with it and start filling the beautiful, beautiful pages. This is all watercolour paper, by the way. So maybe we can draw in it. I don't know. We'll have a think about that. But there is a video. I'll leave the link in the description box below showing how I made this. It's from an old vintage book. Absolutely beautiful. I've left the end papers exactly as they are, but, you know, too nice to not do something with it. Now you will find the link to the video showing how I made the journal from start to finish. All of the previous pages are in the playlist, so I'll leave that in the description box below. But if you've enjoyed today's video and it's given you some ideas and inspiration, as always, I'd very much appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've got a favourite page, let me know which one it is. But most importantly, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.